Kia ora.
Ayubowan, and welcome to
Sorry Amma, I married a Kiwi.
Last time we talked about how Sam got trapped in a 1-hour meditation to prove his love.
I mean, poor Sam. It was actually 1 hour long, and then he did well, so I have to give him that.
So we're going to go straight back to that moment where Sam's like, oh, this has been great, and wandered out the door because he's planning to pass out in a bush or something maybe, but pretended he had friends to go to because he just needed some time to recharge. But then Emasha seemed very intent on taking him home.
Yeah, because I had to give him the talk. So today we're going to talk about the talk.
Sam didn't know he was in for the talk, but he was about to encounter some breaking the cultural barriers.
I mean, I guess like a lot of couples do get the talk or have to have the talk like very later on.
I don't think their talk was our talk though. I think they had a pretty unique talk.
Okay, but still, anyway, whatever the talk is, like Sam got the talk very early on. But why are we talking in like third person? Sam and you and him and this and that. But anyways, you got the talk, Sam. So today is about the talk.
We're going straight back to that moment, and here we go. I think you were like, what's your plan for when you leave? And I'm like, I'm just going to walk and maybe find a bus or maybe find someone I know in the area. I just wasn't ready to pay for another Uber at that point. So I just wanted to wander and maybe collect my thoughts after that hour-long meditation. And then you were very insistent that you were taking me home.
Yeah, I felt bad. It was a long drive. It was a long way to come Uber. And it was raining like crazy. And I was like, okay, let me drop you off. So I dropped you off.
Were there any other, plans behind that dropping off? Was it almost like there was you had preconceived plan that you wanted?
Well, it has been 4 dates, each getting longer. So the first day 5 hours, the 4 hours, and then Saturday almost the whole daytime. And Sunday you were there till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or something. I think we went out to have lunch after the meditation. And we went to
that was really
Mission
nice.
Bay. We had an amazing lunch. We were glad that we were not thrown out of the lunch place because we were so loud and just having a great time.
Just laughing, having an amazing time with our friends who neither of us had known 2 weeks before. And also that we were holding hands. It felt very close. Like it was feeling like a relationship.
Yeah. But I think maybe, after all that, I kind of realized this guy is kind of into me.
Okay, this can't just be friendship. There's something going on here.
It's not just something going on here. He's genuine and why would anybody would come to this random meditation and they try to keep up with that? Anybody else is oh, screw this, I'm going home.
And you're like, why did that bastard have to be so nice? He's made things very complicated.
I felt like I just had to give him a warning because...
Go back.
Huh?
That's a warning.
Yes.
It's on the Rainbow's End theme park log flume. It starts getting dark and scary and there's an animatronic that goes, go back, danger ahead. That was your talk to me on the Sunday.
Yeah, true.
Back to the shadows.
No, I just dropped him off before I left your place. When I went to drop you off, I was like, oh, by the way, I need to have a little chat to you. And then you're like,
give me the talk.
So I gave him the talk. I had to be honest and forthcoming. I didn't want to keep anything and be lead him on. And after a while, it's oh, well, you know what? I just had some fun. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I didn't want to do that. So I said, look, I might sound and dress and act and behave like a Kiwi, but at the same time, I come from a very traditional background. It's just me here. My whole family is back home in Sri Lanka, and they send me with so much trust. So I saw that there's something special, but at the same time, if my parents are not going to agree with us.
I remember the first sentence because you were there trying to get up the courage to say it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to come out here? And you're like, so you've never dated a brown girl, have you? And I was like, what is the correct response to this? Because I can't be defensive, yes, I have. And then try and invent somebody. But yeah, I wasn't sure. Was it like a strike against me? Was I meant to have had like a vast experience of, it's not like my general dating, experience is just narrow enough without trying to like categorize. Which I think I said, I'm like, no, I haven't dated a brown girl, but I have only dated like 2 people, so the chances were low.
No, I'm glad that I started there. Now I think about it.
It was a good way to set the tone. Yeah.
But yeah, I am somebody who would want to get married, and then that's how I perceived my relationships. Otherwise, like, what's the point? That's it in my perspective for me. So it's like, well, if you are to proceed with the relationship, that's to get married, and if you are to get married, I'm like, we have to fight for it. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, and that was, it's amazing because I know there's a lot of maybe Western listeners where the idea is so foreign that your parents aren't okay with it, so you're going to shut down that relationship, and that's just not like out of a coercion of like fearing parents. That's out of love and respect for where they come from and for your own culture.
Yeah.
Right? And I think I was very struck by that you weren't saying like, I'm afraid to do this. You're like, this is what's important to me, and this is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was really nice
if you say it's like, oh no, like I just wanna have a normal Western relationship, things that is intended without saying, I would have been like, look, it's not gonna work, and I'm not gonna drag you along with me and then disappoint you, or just be disappointed that I'm not giving you a proper relationship. Like, it's better to be forthcoming. And I kind of and also like, for me, when I said I want to go abroad and do a master's, and it was a very novelty. Yes, I know there's a lot of Sri Lankans gone out abroad to do their masters and higher studies, even including girls, but it's so different, the western part of Sri Lanka and the southern part of Sri Lanka. It's a massive difference. And yeah, so the fact that they just send me and let me go out to the world and then do my own thing, I just respected it so much, because I know a lot of girls who had the degree with me, who finished the degree with me, who wanted to do a master's or something abroad, and the answer sort of what they got is, you have to get married first. Like, we are not sending a single girl abroad, and if your husband is okay with it, then you can do whatever the heck you want, but that's up to the husband. So the fact that my parents trusted me and then gave me that opportunity, I had to respect them.
Well, also you'd kind of bullied them into it to start with.
Yeah, that's a different
just
story.
Being Emasha, just like was tearing her own path.
Yeah, they didn't just like, oh yes, you go to our world.
Because didn't you say you're also like the first person you kind of knew in the community who had gone abroad in those circumstances?
In the immediate family.
First person from the family.
I have been briefly for a while, but like I was the only one. The first one, I would say.
First one.
Especially the girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
To go out and then start studying and then build a life, essentially.
Yeah, which I'm so proud of you for.
Thank you. I think I finished my Bachelor's of Law and then working for the attorney's exams and getting the license to enter the bar in Sri Lanka. Around the time, I remember there were a few times Aya kind of like jokes whenever I bring up that I want to do masters abroad. He was like, you think Tata is going to let you. Tata means father in Sinhalese.
And Aya means older brother.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So he's going to let you go abroad by yourself. So that happens a few times. I was kind of pissed at him. So it was like, it was a dinner for my dad's birthday. We went out for dinner and the 5 of us were in the table. So normally we just bring some conversations like that, like the family chat. So I just brought out, I was like, so by the way, Tate, like, Dad, so my brother is saying that, like, he's saying something like this, like, are you really not going to let me go? And he was like, well, I have to talk to Amma. I'm like, Amma is right here. So talk to her right now. Give me an answer.
Classic Emasha.
It's kind of like cornered him. Otherwise, it would be like, oh, I'll talk to Amma. And Amma would be like, I'll talk to Tata. So they just like go back and forth.
Get everybody in the one room.
So I was like, okay, talk, tell me. And then he was like, yeah, I mean, he was like, I don't think I see a problem. So I was like, great. And I ran with it. So yeah, Amma kind of, I think, persuaded him a lot to give me an opportunity. completely random story, but yeah. So it was, I always knew, doesn't matter how things are going to work, I have to respect them. So
Yeah, I love how you
give him
approach
the
that.
talk.
I mean, that was kind of like the whole agony of the relationship was around the conflict of you wanting to respect me and wanting to respect your family, and how do you reconcile these two Emashas from Sri Lanka and the person you become in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because, like, very different experience from being a Sri Lankan born in New Zealand, whose family might have been more exposed to that.
Yeah.
Like, for your family, they briefly visited New Zealand, right? But they had no larger context.
For 10 days or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, after your graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I say it's a unique situation, but I'm sure there's others who have been in it, which is why we're doing the podcast. 'Cause, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't, if you guys, if anybody's listening and have a friend or has gone through this situation or love to share we would love to hear your story. There must be stories where it would have been even worse or would have been easy, or there were tactics that they had to make things mellow.
We would have loved a manual.
So if there's a manual out there, no, it doesn't really matter. So we got it done. But yeah, it was very, very, yeah.
Sorry, it's a high five.
Yeah, so the intense story began after that.
So what were you feeling at the end of week 1 after these 4 dates? Or more importantly, after the talk?
The talk. I guess it's kind of evident the reason I gave you the talk, because
You were crazy into me.
Not really.
Oh, man.
It was terrifying, but I was ready to give you a chance and us a chance. Let's put it that way. So,
because you also, I know we've talked about it in this context, but you must have felt strongly that chances were, when you did go back to Sri Lanka, that your parents would be putting proposals before you, right?
yeah, which was the reason I decided that this might be the last time I would get to meet new people, so I might date. That brave step of my life that happened right before I went to Sri Lanka, which led to meet you. Plus, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The proposals coming through thing while I was in Sri Lanka. So, yeah, I knew that's going to happen. In the sense, like, I don't like the confusion of the Western world, the forced marriages and proposed marriages. Very different, vast difference.
My kind of understanding has grown to be that the parents are basically the dating app. So it's
more so than, I would say, let's say, like, if, like, our amazing flatmates, Mike and Marlene had a friend, they knew somebody, they would think like, oh, would be a good match for you.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, Sam, there's this girl that we know, like, you guys might hit it off, just go for a date. And then kind of like, not a blind, it doesn't have to be a blind date, but sort of a blind date.
But it makes me think, like, when the parents, like, when it's a proper proposal, like, there's a lot of information down on paper that can be seen. It's kind of like on those dating apps where it shows
that is true.
What they're interested in and what their background is. Yeah.
It depends where the proposal is coming from, because sometimes the proposal would be coming from a friend of, like, parents might know, actually, somebody, so a friend of the parents, so the son of one of their friends. So in that case, it's just very casual and informal.
Yeah.
So in that way, it is very similar to a friend setting you up on a blind date sort of situation. But there are newspapers out there, so you would put a little advertisement saying, it's like, I will find them. We should do a podcast.
Where we can read them out. That'd be so fun.
It would be so funny. Not to make fun of anybody, but like they're so interesting how it's not something that people get baffled. My friends here get baffled by the idea, but it's still to the day it happens. And there are websites, or there are people called and you have a rainbow on your face.
I know. Please continue. I have a rainbow on my face at the moment, coming through the window.
So
We apologize for technical difficulties.
what I was saying, so there are different avenues. Like either it could be a matchmaker, like an actual person. If anybody has watched Netflix, the what was that show called? Indian Matchmaking. I know a lot of people who have watched it. It's very interesting. So that still happens in Sri Lanka as well. So you have a person who's a matchmaker who would have a list of people who would be like, oh yeah, okay, yep. So somebody would inform like they're looking for a match for their son or daughter as well, and then they would go through the list that they have, and then say it's like, oh, these two might match. So you get to know each other, sort of thing. So or you put a newspaper advertisement kind of thing, or a website, or like there are different avenues. So in that way, it might be like a dating website situation because you put everything like what's the religion, what's the caste, what's the age, what's the height and the job.
What is my caste?
I don't know. Do you have one?
I don't know. I was curious about when, we started to get serious, when I was told the importance that was placed in caste. I was like, where does being a like Kiwi rank in the, like, how does it factor into that? And then you also have the horoscopes, which are a massive thing as well, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, for me, it was like, there's already enough obstacles. We're not even going to find out what a star chart is.
I'm so glad my parents are not into those. And then
all so close, but
they didn't even care. When we were planning the wedding, Amma, I don't know whether she even looked at because just jumping ahead a little bit, but when we were planning the wedding, like...
Oh, spoiler! Sorry, continue.
You have to know the auspicious time to plan the traditional auspicious ceremony. So I think she just took my horoscope to the person and then said, it's like, just find a time that matches her. So
yeah, do not look at his horoscope. Do not.
He does not have one.
He was born without stars.
Does he have stars?
So you'd also warned me about this in advance. I feel like early on you're like, yeah, there might... I think you said kind of jokingly that there might be a queue of guys waiting at the airport. And,
I didn't say that.
I don't know how true that was going to be.
But, I didn't say that.
But you or someone close to you did, like, because that was an image put into my head early on by one of the Sri Lankans.
People with like flowers and beetle leaves, I guess.
Yeah. Like it was said jokingly, but I think it was actually helpful because it prepared me. Otherwise, it would have been a bit blindsided, I think, by the element.
Yeah.
It was a helpful mental image.
That like a queue of guys waiting for me in the airport.
Yeah. I was like,
How
okay.
was that a helpful image?
Well, because, like, you kind of set your expectations. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to harden myself a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the talk, Sam.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a fight. How was that for you when you hear that?
Well, I remember part of it. I think you were afraid when you gave me that talk that I was going to hear that and be like, oh, in that case, yeah. I think like you kind of went into that feeling that might be the end of things then and there, right?
Yeah.
And I remember a bit where I was kind of like, well, it's not for me just about the fun of dating someone, like that's not as big a barrier for me as you seem to think it might be. Like for me, it is about finding the person that I love and the person I'm going to be together with. Those other things feel kind of like minor in comparison to that. And then I remember your reaction afterwards, you're like, oh, well, that's good to know. And it was kind of like you hadn't like thought about the possibility it might go in that direction. Like it was just, I think like you were a little bit surprised by it.
Probably. I might have been like, okay, this is getting a bit too out of hand, out of proportion for because I don't think I haven't let anything to go that far. So I was like, whoa, like this guy is actually interested in me and like genuine. And I wanted to be honest, and at the same time I'm like, well, let's just tell him how it is. You're gonna have to fight, dude. And then he would be like, oh shit, like why would I? Because from what I hear, the word on the street is that it's a very different story.
Oh, sorry, what's the word on the street?
The word on the street is guys suck.
Yeah, they only want one thing.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Praise.
So, I mean, and also like it's a massive thing to ask, right? Like, be patient, and you're not going to get anything except talking to me. And like you have to fight through this like traditional barriers to win an approval, and then I'm talking about marriage on the fourth date, like within a week that I met you. That's big. A lot of, I mean, not just guys, a lot of people are very scared of commitment, and rightfully so. You don't know who the other person is. Like you're kind of committing to somebody for the rest of your life. Marriage, that's marriage. And I'm talking, but coming from a place where one is sacred, one, there's no other relationship except something that is working towards marriage. For me, it was kind of normal talking about marriage very early on in a relationship. But for you in a Western culture, it could be crazy because I watch movies, I see reality shows, and I'm like, oh my God, guys and girls are like super scared of commitment. And it's a big deal. So when I tell you that, you're going to be like, all right.
But meanwhile, there I was, and you were like giving me the talk, and like had that kind of like, here we go, kind of feel to it. And I was like, so the bad news is that we have to get married? Because that seems like pretty positive. Like,
how do I put it? I must have been relieved. I am relieved now that you reacted that way. I'm happy that you reacted that way. But at that point, I must have been like, shit, that means I actually have to fight for this as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like
if it was you, were like, okay, yeah, I don't want to, like, I understand. Like, thank you for telling me, and like, let's just go on our separate ways. I would have been, phew.
But here we are recording a podcast in our room after the long, long road.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just very ready to find my person. You know, I thought by the time I turned 30, I'd be living in a castle with my queen, you know. I mean, in a literal sense, because I was always a big fan of medieval fantasy. Yeah. And I think when I was in high school, that's what I planned my life to look like.
Yeah, we actually have a palace kind of looking, medieval looking photo in our room.
We have a portrait of the Eversong woods from the Blood Elf culture in World of Warcraft on the wall, which just kind of tells you who I am as a person.
Instead of a palace at the moment. But
well,
we are working on the palace.
If I was a fantasy being, I would obviously be a blood elf because of the surname. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just working it back slightly. So I remember talking to Lara after that.
Okay.
Because Lara was literally in bed, like trying to go to sleep. But she also
Did you not let that poor woman sleep?
But she also wanted to hear an update. And I think Nick came out to broker the communication. He's like, okay, so she's awake, but like talk through the door. So I was like, okay. So I'm like on the floor beside the door being like, yeah, so it sounds like, you know, things might have to like be serious if this is going to work. I just kind of gave her the broad blows. And she's like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds positive. Okay, I think we're happy with this. Because she's like, you know, she's the producer of my love life. But I that's how I remember the note being, like me telling Lara essentially, like, if I really want this, it's going to have to be serious very quickly. And like Lara, I think, knowing me, like just saying, yeah, that seems like good news, and that factors in with who you are.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that it was positive. It came as a shock to me that you were ready to jump.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. You're like, oh, you didn't plan this far ahead.
No, I didn't.
I don't have a script for what happens next.
I obviously didn't come into the conversation thinking like, oh, please break it off. Because if that was what I wanted, I would have told you like, look, it was fun, a week. I don't think this is going to work. And then I would have ended it. Like, why would I give you the opportunity? Like, why would I give you the hand and then say yeah. So obviously I wanted you to pursue, but I did not expect you to.
I appreciate you not being like, I have to protect you. I'm breaking this off for your own good.
No.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. It's what Harry Potter essentially does. So, yeah, tries to be valiant and, like, you know.
With whom? I can't remember this.
I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read it.
It has been out there for a million years. If you didn't read it, you must have been under a rock, like, not our problem.
Point being, I'm glad that you didn't do that. So that was...
And I can't remember much of it, so that's
I'm trying to remember what happened after that, because it wasn't long after that they had to go and do the trip to Australia with Dad.
I think you went right after.
And I remember, like, it was going to be our goodbye before I went off, and we were like hugging, and trying to deal with the idea that we were going to be apart after this very intense 1 week, or however long it had been. And my dad was coming to pick me up, I think, to take me to, I think we're going to the airport or something. But you like obviously didn't want to say goodbye. I don't either, but I knew if you stayed too long, you would be meeting my father, whether or not you wanted to or not, because he was literally on his way. But obviously, like with the procrastination, it came to the bit where you finally said goodbye, you went out, you kind of drove up like the rainy driveway just as my dad was trying to come down the driveway. And then we had this terrible situation. This terrible situation where you and dad like facing off through the rainy darkness. And he's in the van and he starts trying to reverse, but he was worried he was going to go over the side, which would have been like the worst possible meeting of my father. So I rushed up the top because I kind of seen this all happen, like, oh my God. And I ran up to Dad, who's like, what's happening? Like, why would someone be leaving as I'm trying to come in? I nearly went over the side. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But also, I'd really like you to meet someone. Because by that point, Emasha was like, I can't have just done that and then refused to meet him. And Dad, to his credit, went very quickly from being like, all worked up to being like, oh, like really heartfelt, like embraced you. Oh. It was a really sweet moment seeing you guys hug each other the first time, especially because I knew like, how big that was for you as well.
Yeah, he's nice. He's a nice person. Yeah, I was terrified of him because, like, again, culturally patriarchal roles, like dad being like the big cheese, as you say. I was like, oh my God, I've eaten the big cheese. But it was just...
You met the big cheese.
Yeah.
He's a soft cheese.
He's
nice
a very,
guy.
very soft cheese. He's very nice.
Yeah, like blue, probably. Yeah.
And then you went to Australia.
Then I went to Australia.
Just to go to Australia for 10 days?
I just thought that trying to win a girl in 30 days was too easy, so why not, like, remove a good 10 of those? So we had about 20 days to cement this relationship.
I guess it kind of like gives us like a foundation of, I don't know, pre-meditation. No, how do I say it? A pre-trial of 3 months of long distance to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler, but it really did give us...
Oh, shit.
It was the guinea pig of long distance, and being good at long distance would turn out to be quite important.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a lot of people who are listening. I mean, if there's at least one person who's listening out of like the 2 people who are listening, is or has ever been in a long distance, they would love to hear about this. So please join us next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.